So once we call what lottery or get lottery numbers, we know it's going to return the lottery numbers of that particular object. We have an array here that's going to store it. So lottery numbers is going to be equal to whatever is being returned when we call get what lottery or get lottery numbers. So now I want us to display. Now we have the everything. I want us to display information. First, let's display today's lottery numbers. We have it stored here. That's a beautiful thing. And so all we have to do is create a loop to go through it and display the numbers. So we can just create a loop just like what we know before. So let's see. So I'm going to create a target variable. So for int, I'm going to call it current lottery number index. Again, it doesn't matter if these variables are the same because you're dealing with different scopes. The scope of this variable here is within the for loop, and the scope of this variable here is within this for loop. Okay, doesn't matter. So for int current lottery number index is equal to 0, as long as our current lottery number index is less than the length of, now what array are we dealing with? We're dealing with this array here. So you can use, as long as it's less than the length of this array, but we know the length of this array is always going to be whatever this value is. So you can also use as long as it's less than the number of lottery numbers. Same thing. We do what's in the loop before we come back up and check to see if this condition is true. Okay, we add 1 to current lottery number index, because this is the mechanism, just like the other ones we're going to use to go through our lottery numbers array. So each time you want to display a message. So first of all, before the loop even starts, let's delete this and let's create a message here that says, so system.out.println. The message is going to say today's lottery numbers are, so a colon, and then this loop is going to display the elements in the array. So the element in the particular position using our index. We're using our index to access a particular element. We want to display it, right? So let's wrap our system.out.println method around it. We want to display this value. And after we display a value, you want to concatenate it with a comma. So a comma and a space and display the next element. I don't want to display it, each of them on its own separate line. So I'll remove the ln here. So once I display something, the next element is going to be displayed on the side of it, right next to it, on the same line. So display the number, a comma, the next number follows with a comma, all on the same line. Let's just test this out. Compile and run. So it says, please enter lottery number 1. I'm going to enter 1, number 2, 7, number 3, 4, 6, and then 3. And it says today's lottery numbers are, and you can see it says 52403. I typed in 17463. So what's happening? We're using, okay, all right. Okay, so let's see. There's something wrong here. We wanted to display the actual lottery numbers. So let's see. We are printing out the values in lottery numbers. Okay, so everything is working. I was a bit confused. What we are doing here is we are storing our numbers in the users array. Sorry about that noise as well. So I thought for some reason I was expecting to see these numbers, but these numbers are actually the numbers stored in our users array, right? And we're actually displaying the numbers that were generated from the constructor, basically the random numbers from the lottery numbers array. And so these are correct. So now we have to create another loop to display the numbers that we typed, which is basically the users array. So this is correct. You can use the same idea here. I'm going to make a copy of this and change a few things, right? So this time around, after displaying something like this, I want to display your numbers are, right? So instead of today's numbers, I'm going to say your numbers are, right? Same idea. But once it displays something like this, I want to break the line. If I leave it this way, it's going to be a problem. But let's just see. So system.out.println your numbers are. So I'm going to create same loop to go through the users array, which we have here, the users lottery numbers. But I'm going to create a target variable. I'm going to call the target variable a bit different. I'm going to say for int current user lottery number index, right? Because we're going to go through the users lottery numbers array. So for int current user lottery number index is equal to 0, as long as our current user lottery number index is less than our not our lottery numbers not our lottery numbers dot length, but rather our user lottery numbers array. Okay, array's length. So as long as our current user lottery number index is less than our user lottery numbers dot length, because we are going through that array to display our user lottery numbers, we want to do what's in the loop, and before we come back up to check to see if this condition is true, we want to add 1 to our current user lottery number index. We want to now print out not the numbers in the lottery numbers array, but the numbers in our user lottery numbers array in that particular current user lottery number index. Okay, same idea. So when I compile this and I run, I want to format it a little bit. It's going to look a bit odd, but I'm going to type in our numbers for 4, 3, 6, 7, 8. It displays that today's lottery numbers these are the randomly generated numbers, but these are our numbers. It says your numbers are, you can see we typed in 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 4, 3, 6, 7, 8. I want to format this a little bit. After displaying the lottery numbers, I want to break it, okay, from here. So I'm going to type in system.out.println without anything in it. And normally when you type in something in here, it prints it out. By default, when you use a println, it prints out this on the screen, and it moves the position from the end of the line to the next line. It moves the position from the end of the line to the next line. So anything that comes after this is going to be displayed from the next line going, right? But this time around, I'm not going to type in anything. I'm still printing out nothing, okay? I'm printing out nothing. But by default, this is how the println works. Print out nothing, but still move the position from the end of the line to the next line. So anything that comes after the nothing, okay, will display from the next line going. So basically, I display the lottery numbers, right? Today's lottery numbers. And I have this. So it's going to print out nothing, but by default, when it's done, it's going to move the position from here to the next line. So anything that comes after will be displayed from this line going, which means your numbers will be displayed from this line going, and everything else will be shifted downwards. So compile this, run, and I can type in some random numbers. And we can see that everything's formatted a little bit better, right? Today's lottery numbers are this, your numbers are this, right? 5, 4, 6, 8, 6. So that's good so far. Now we need to display the match numbers and what numbers were they and what position were they. So we have our match numbers array, which is good. So we can go create a loop that also goes through that, right? Same idea of going through the loop. We create a target variable. It's going to be for int, because we're going through the match numbers array, for int matched. Let's start with current. For int current matched, my typing. For int current match number index is equal to 0. So as long as our current match number index, okay, is less than the length of our match numbers array, match numbers array dot length, what we want to do is do what's in the loop. Okay, use that index to access an element in the match numbers array. Before we come back up and check to see if the current match number, I call this current matched index. I meant to call this current matched number index. Okay, so I know it's a long name, but just to make it clear. So we set it to 0, check to see if the current match number index is less than the match numbers or length. Do what's in the loop. Okay, we use the index to access the element in the match numbers array. Before we come back up to check to see if this condition is true, or before we come back up to check to see if that particular index in the match numbers array is a valid index, we add 1 to the index, the current match number index, and then we continue the loop, so on, basically so on and so forth, right? We want to display, okay, the element in the match numbers array, but we know the match numbers array will, if there are no match numbers, then it will all be negative ones. If there are some not matched numbers, then there will be some negative ones and then the matched numbers. If there are all matched numbers, then there will be all numbers in there. So we know there's a potential to be a negative one in there. A negative one we know is not part of the lottery numbers that will be generated, and that's why we use negative one. All right. Now, if we say, so I'll explain why about a zero later on. That zero that I was talking about earlier later on. So we don't want to display the negative ones. We want to display only the numbers that are not negative ones. So we have an if statement in our loop that says that if that current number we're dealing with, and the way we access that is by the array, by the match numbers array, using that particular number, the current match number index. If that match number, okay, is not equal to, exclamation sign equal to, which means not equal to, together, no space. So this means not equal to. So if that particular number using that current match number index is not equal to -1, okay, that means there was a match. And so I want program to display that match number. So we're going to say system, well, first of all, let's create a message above it. Right, so I'm going to copy this and paste this here. I'll call this matched numbers. But also I don't want everything to be matched up, so I'll have another system.out.println here just to separate things out. So matched numbers, we want this to be ln because we want it to be something like this, right? Display the heading and then the numbers. So matched numbers, we want to display the numbers if it's not a -1. If it's not -1, then in that particular slot of matched numbers, if this number is not equal to -1, then display this particular number. Okay, so let's display this particular number actually. We want to system.out.println, right? So system.out.println, this particular number here. We want to display that concatenated with a comma and a space. All right. So let's compile this and then run. So let's just type in the numbers. Okay, so there are no match numbers, and that's why I didn't display any match numbers, because 8 and 5 doesn't match, 7 and 4, 0, 5, 9 and 7, 5 and 3, they all don't match, and that's why I didn't display any match numbers. And so in that array, there will be only -1s in there. And we're saying if that number is not equal to -1 printed, that means there were all -1s in there. We wanted to display a comma and a space. That's it. So that's why I didn't keep zeros in there, right? Because zeros could be part of the numbers I type here, right? And if by default all the numbers are 0, okay, if there are no match numbers, then in the match numbers array they'll all be 0. That's if we kept them all as zeros. And if we kept them all as zeros, and I had zeros as part of my numbers, that would be considered a match, right? But the program won't record it as a match, right? Because we will, over here, instead of saying if our match number is not equal to -1, we'll say if our match numbers is not equal to 0. So if it's not equal to 0, then display it. But here's the case: our match numbers can store zeros if there really were no match numbers, and if it's 0, okay, it wouldn't print it out. But it's possible that I can have 0 here. In that case, that's considered a match. So it's displayed. But if we kept zeros and we used the 0 logic here, it wouldn't have worked, right? If we said if match number is not equal to 0, then I could have typed in a 0 here, and it still wouldn't display, because it would have only displayed numbers that are not 0. See, that's why I use a number that is not part of the numbers that will be generated as part of the random numbers. Okay. -1 works because -1 is not part of the numbers that are, it's not going to be part of the numbers of our random numbers, right? Use any number that is not part of your random numbers. Later on, you can even kind of write a program or some kind of script that will auto generate that number for you, later on. So -1 works fine for now because it's not part of our random numbers. All right. I know I'm talking too much, but I just want to make it clear. Okay, so we want to display the match numbers and a comma. Let's try something else to see if we have a match. Compile this and then run. And type in, I'm going to type in all zeros. So 0, 0, oops, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. There were no match numbers because these all don't match. Run it again. We'll find a match very soon. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Still 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Still. I'm tempted to change the number to 1, but let's keep with 0. I'm sure we'll find what matches soon. Nope. A few more. If not, I'll just change it to 1. Okay, I'll just change it to 1 for now if I can find a match. Oops. It's fine, I'll just stick with 0. Now I'll change it to 1. Oops, I hit 1 before it run. Compile this, run. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so you can see there was a match here, right? And then and the match number was basically 1, which is true. But we don't know. We need to let the program also display what position, okay, well, of this one, because it's possible we can have a match here of 1. It's possible we can have a match here of 1. But we need to know what particular slot. It should say match number. There's a match number, which is the number 1 at what slot. So the beautiful thing about this match numbers array is because, or basically is that the match number will be stored in the particular position. Okay, when we're basically comparing the two arrays, that match number will be stored in the particular position. Using the current user lottery number index. So stored in a particular position, so we can access that position of that match number. We can add 1 to it and display, okay, this is at slot 3, right? Because if, let's say, the match numbers array looks something like this, it will display that match number. The index of this 9 will be 2, right? But if we add 1 to 2, that'll be slot 3, because we're dealing with 1, first slot, second slot, and third slot. Even though it has index 2, 0, 1, 2, we want to display to the user, okay, there's a match which is the number 9 at slot 3. And the way we do that is by accessing its index, okay, 0, 1, 2, and adding 1 to it, which is 3. So we'll say there was a match which is number 9 at slot 3. We're going to do the same thing here. We will know the index of that particular number because we are using the index to access that particular number here, right? So all we have to do is just add 1 to the index to display the slot. So we can say display the match number, okay, and not just that, but have a parentheses right after it and say slot, and then let's concatenate it with the value, okay, of the index. If we add 1 to the index, we can tell the exact slot. I'm going to surround it with parentheses. So slot this number, okay, and then we can now concatenate it with a comma and a space. Well, before that, we can close the parentheses here, and then we have a comma and then a space. So let's compile to see if it works. So I'm going to type in 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See, the beautiful thing is now we have 2 slots. So there's a match here, which is the number 1 at slot 1. We access the index of that particular match number, which is 0, and we added 1 to it, and it says 0 plus 1, which is slot 1. There's another match here at slot 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the number is 1. So that's the beautiful thing. This number here has an index of 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. We added 1 to it to be 4, so we can display and say, okay, slot 4. I don't want these here separated on different lines. So instead of using a print ln here, I'll just use a prints, so it just displays them side by side. Let's try again. So run. I'm going to enter all zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So it says there's a match number which is 0 here at slot 1. It's true. There's a match number 0 at slot 1. There's another 0 which at slot 5, which is true. So slot 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slot 5, which is true. So it's working. Let's try one more time. See if I can get all 5. So I'll just try random numbers 4, 7, 3, 8, 1. And I didn't get anything because all these numbers didn't match. You can later on modify a program and make it say that none or something, right? When we can do that, actually we'll do that just to make the program a bit more complete. So once we're done with this, let's also keep track of how many matched numbers there are, right? And display to the user, okay, you matched 2 numbers or you matched 3 numbers. Because in the question that said it's here, there are 2 matching digits, elements 2 and 4. Over here it's using the index, but we want to use the position because People want to understand. If you tell them elements 2, they'll probably look at this and say 1, 2. Wait, they'll say 4 and 2 it doesn't match. Over here, they're using the index. We are using the actual position, right? The actual slots, which is good. So let's display the number. Let's keep track of the number of matching numbers, right? So if over here the number is not equal to, where is it? If the number is not equal to what we're in our class. Okay, so we're almost done. I know this program's getting long, but I want it to be clear, and that's why I'm doing this, okay? Just want it to be clear. Because once you learn something and you understand it, the beautiful thing is you've learned it and you understand it once and for all. You can apply it in your future programs. So that's why I take my time. There's no rush to it. Understanding it is the most important thing, okay? So, but if you, as always, if you feel like you understand some of these things, just feel free to skip through the video, right? But if you are liking this and you're liking the pace, that's perfect too. Okay, so go however, whatever pace that makes you comfortable. Okay, so what we want to do next is display the number of match numbers. So over here, we are checking to see if that number is a negative 1. If that number is not a negative 1, then that means that's a match number, right? So we can keep track of it. Up here, let's declare an int variable. Let's call it number of matched numbers. Let's set it equal to 0 because we are counting. We are, first of all, before we add anything to it, it's 0. If that number is not a negative 1, we display it and then we add 1 to it, to our number of matched numbers. So number of matched numbers is going to be equal to what's already stored in number of matched numbers plus 1. So we're taking whatever is stored in number of matched numbers, we're adding 1 to it, and we're storing the result back in number of matched numbers. The first number of matched numbers is equal to 0. If we find a match, if that number is not equal to negative 1 in the matched numbers array, we found a match, and so we add 1 to whatever was already stored in a number of matched numbers array. When it started initially, it was 0, so we take 0, we add 1 to it, that becomes 1, and we are taking 1 and we are storing it back in number of matched numbers. So the next time we check to see if there's another match number of matched numbers state becomes 1. If we find another match number, we take what's already stored in number of matched numbers, which is 1, we add 1 to it, it becomes 2, we are storing 2 back in number of matched numbers this way, so on and so forth. So we are basically accumulating. Now this statement here can also be written in a short form. Instead of number of matched numbers is equal to number of matched numbers plus 1, we can say number of matched numbers plus equals 1. Same thing. This means we are adding 1 to number of matched numbers. Or you can say number of matched numbers is increasing by 1. Okay, however, makes sense to you. So you can write it this short form, or you can keep it the long way, which is this. I'll keep it the long way for now. They both work. And so this is a way to keep track of the number of matched numbers. So once we are done with displaying our matched numbers, we can have a system.out.println statement here, right below it, and say, okay, you matched. And then we can use that value, just concatenate it to the number of matched numbers. So you matched, whether it's 2 or 5 or 3, we can display it here from this variable. And then we can concatenate it with a string and say numbers. So you match 3 numbers, or you match 4 numbers, something like that. Actually, let's see. The beautiful thing about it is the question over here said the program should also display the number of digits. Well, the number of digits that match the randomly generated numbers, which we've done here. It says over here that if all the digits match, display a message proclaiming the user a grand prize winner. So we can actually, before displaying this, we can do something. So it's either the user matched all 5 numbers, or the user displayed or the user matched some numbers, right? I'm sorry, I'm talking a bit fast again. I get very excited about these things, so I'm sorry. So I'm going to create an if statement, okay, because it's either the user matched all numbers or the user matched some numbers. And so if the user matched all numbers, then we say, okay, you're a grand prize winner, you matched all 5 numbers. If you didn't match all 5 numbers, then you matched some numbers, right? And so we're going to display some numbers. And it's all going to depend on the value of number of matched numbers. So let's just cut this here. And over here in our if statement, we're going to say if number of matched numbers, because we'll have the value stored here. If number of matched numbers, okay, is equal to, I'm using double equal sign to compare, okay, is equal to 5, or no, actually that's bad. If we use 5, then we are manually typing in the value, right? We have to use whatever however many lottery numbers we have, right? Because if we change it to 6 and all of a sudden we have 6 lottery numbers, if we keep it 5 here, it's bad. That messes up with our whole logic. So I'm just going to keep this as 5. Number of lottery numbers, that's what we want. So if our number of match numbers is equal to the number of lottery numbers, that means if you matched all the lottery numbers, if the lottery numbers are 6 and you matched all of them, right, or you had a number of match numbers that is equal to all of them, again, double equal sign to compare. I'm asking is what's on the right equal to what's on the left. If I use one equal sign, I'm assigning what's on the right to what's on the left. I want to compare. So 2 double equal signs. So if this is equal, then you're the grand prize winner, right? So we display a message, system.out.println, that says that, what did it say? Proclaim the user a grand prize winner. So we say you're a grand prize winner. You matched our numbers, all numbers, and won $1 million. Oh my goodness, I wish that was me. $1 million. Now go enjoy. You can just type anything you want. It's just for fun. Now go and enjoy. Something like this. This message, if I play this game, I'll probably never see this message because it's hard. Matching all 5 numbers, it's hard. Maybe 2 numbers or 1. Of course, 1 number, yeah, maybe I can get that very fast. But 2 numbers, maybe. But 5 numbers, I don't know. If you win it, you're something else. You know, you have luck or something. You're lucky. All right. So if you match all the numbers, we display this message to you. Else, that means that you didn't match all the numbers, right? So we want to display the value of the value of the number of match numbers in a separate message. You don't get the. I'm sorry, I'm trying to laugh, but I'm sorry. You don't get this special message here saying you're a grand prize winner, which is sad. And I know that's me. That's going to be me all the time. Maybe one day I'll get this message, but you get a different message. We still access the value of number of match numbers. We say you matched, okay. You matched. And we can access the value of number of match numbers. So you match whether it's 2 or 3 or 4, and then we can concatenate it with the value numbers like this. The beautiful thing is it's still going to display. If you match all numbers, it's going to display all the numbers you matched and their slots. If you match some numbers, it will display all the numbers that you matched and some and their slots. So with this, I think we're done with the program. Let me compile this and then run. Now let's test it. I know I'm going to win this. I know. I just know it because I just know it. All right, so let's see. 5, 8, 2, 9, 7. See, I don't even think. And I know I'm going to be a grand prize winner. Hit enter. Oh my goodness. See, I got 0 numbers because none of these numbers match. Right? I didn't even get 1. That's sad. Okay, so I'll run the program again and I'll try. Try it maybe 2 or 3 more times. 4, 5, 3, 8, 7. Oops, what am I doing? 4, 5, 7, 3, 8. It doesn't matter. Still match 0 numbers. The game doesn't like me, and I wrote the program. Goodness. Okay, so they all don't match. So run again. I'll try. 1, 2, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still no match. You can see these numbers are not matching. I'm just checking to see if the program is working correctly. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so you matched 1 numbers. Okay. So first of all, we want to separate this line here. Before we display this message, right? We want to separate it with a new line. So let's have that, and so that's fixed. Second is that it's saying you match 1 number. It should say you matched 1 number, right? If you have 0 numbers, it should say you matched 0 numbers. If you have more than 1 number, it should say numbers. So the only time it should say number is when you have 1 number. If you have 0 or more than 1, right, then it should say numbers. So we can add it in our if statement. First of all, we'll fix this line break. So we can add it in our if statement using Boolean operators. So if you matched all the numbers, okay, let's see. All right, so if you matched all the numbers, and if you match all the numbers, we display this message to you. That's fine. Else, okay, else. Let's create an else if, not just an else. So else if, okay. Else if you didn't match all the numbers. Well, else if means, first of all, automatically means you didn't match all the numbers. But we want to check to see if your number of matched numbers, okay, is equal to 1. If number of matched numbers is equal to 1, we want to check that. Do double equal signs again. If it's equal to 1, then we want to display the message you matched number of matched numbers with number. Then it's going to say you matched 1 number. Else now will mean that you didn't match, that means your number of matched numbers is not 1. It can be 0, right? In this case, we want to display a message that says the same thing. You matched this number of matched numbers, but we say numbers, right? Because if it's, first of all, if you matched all the numbers, we say, okay, you were grand prize winner, okay? Else, if the number of matched numbers is equal to 1, if you match 1 number, then we say, okay, you matched 1 number. If you didn't match one number, then it's either you matched 0 numbers. In that case, we'll say you matched 0 numbers with S, or you matched more than 1. In this case, it will be 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, and so on and so forth. All right, so that makes sense. So let's compile and then run, try again. I mean, these are just extra features we're adding to our program just to make it a bit more spicy or nice. You can stop here. So 5, 4, 7, 3, 8. Okay. What's happening? Okay, that's good. That's correct. I thought I was seeing different things. All right, so today's lottery numbers are these. Your numbers are these. So you match the number 5 at slot 1. And we can see I matched the number 5 at slot 1. I didn't match any other numbers. You matched 1 number. See, that's the beautiful thing. 1 number. Let's try something else. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Still 1 number at slot 5. Slot 5, I matched 1 number here. Let's try again. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Still 1 number at slot 5. Wow. I just want to get either 2 or 0. Oops, sorry. What am I doing here? Do compile and then run. Okay, so over here I match 0 numbers. None of these match, but it says you matched 0 numbers with S. So it's a bit dynamic, right? I don't think I'm going to see this message anytime soon. So you guys should try your luck to see if you can do it. Oh, you know what the beautiful thing is? I can try to change. The beautiful thing is you can now change this to 1. Now I have only one lotto number. I have only 1 number to guess. And if I guess it, if my number of match numbers, which is 1, is equal to the number of lottery numbers, which is 1, then I'm the grand prize winner. So let me compile this and then see if I can see this message. This is my only luck. So I'm going to type in 6. And the number was 1, and I typed in 6. Try again. I need to get this before I end the program. Sorry. If I don't get it after a long time, I'll just stop. The number was 4. I typed in 2. I'm going to type in 9. Wow, I was close. 5. 3. 8. This is hard. 8. This is really hard. 1. I keep typing 1. 1. You know, I don't think I'll win this. This is very hard. 1. 1. This game doesn't like me. Again, I programmed it. It's crazy. I'm gonna try a wild guess, one last one. If it doesn't work, I'll just leave it up to you guys. 8. Okay. All right. So you can change this to 25 if you want. That's the beautiful thing. Or 125. And I'll ask you 125 times. So see, it keeps on going. Let's see if I can. No, this is too many. All right. So basically, the program works. I'm just playing around. All right. So it works. If you have any questions, please I'm sorry, I know it took long, but again, I want it to be clear. I want us to have a good sense, and that's why I'm trying to play with all this stuff. It just comes naturally. But if you have any questions, please comments down below, and I'll do everything to respond to them. I know I'm behind on comments, but I know some comments are even a year old I haven't responded to, which is extremely bad and terrible. But I'm still going to reply to those comments regardless. So again, don't be surprised if you get the comments from me after 1 year later, okay? I'm sorry, but I want to reply at least, just to, talk to you. And at the same time, for future reference, if someone has a similar question, they can also refer to those answers. Also, talk to each other and help each other if you can. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time with the next video. Have a good day. Have a great time. Have a nice night. Have a good time. And I'll see you next time. All right, then. Bye-bye.